Welcome to the Hour of Happy, where ambition meets joy and big dreams don't come with apologies. I am Devin Roof, entrepreneur, marketing expert, and your inside source for what it really takes to build a life that you love. Whether you're building a business, making a career leap, or just chasing the spark that lights you up again, this is your space to grow, laugh, learn, and remember who the heck you are. This is the Hour of Happy. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hour of Happy. I'm your host, Devin Roof, and today's episode is one that I think so many of you are going to feel in your bones. And it's the idea that other people's lack of preparation does not automatically become an emergency on your end. Just because something is urgent for someone else doesn't mean it has to be urgent for us too. I hope you guys can relate to this because for whatever reason, this topic has been coming up a lot lately in conversation and in my life personally. So I really wanted to talk about this today just so we can dive deeper into what this actually looks like, how to navigate it without becoming cold or disconnected from people. Because here on the Hour of Happy, that's never the goal. We want to stay grounded, protect our energy, and still show up as the kind of people that we want to be. And I'm going to kind of dive into this today so you guys get to hear exactly how to handle these situations. So hopping right into the topic, if you're anything like me, your instinct is probably to help others whenever you can. You want to be reliable. You want to be the person people can count on. You take pride in your work, your relationships, your reputation. And because of that, when something feels urgent, your natural reaction is to jump in and fix it. I see this all the time in my work with clients and in my personal relationships too. It's like a last minute request comes through or a deadline suddenly gets moved up. And it's always something that could have been planned weeks ago that is now a need it by tomorrow situation. And you know what, guys? I typically shift everything around to make it happen for these people. That means dropping what I'm doing to accommodate this request, pushing other work aside, or extending my day. But what I've started to realize is that I was training these people to expect that from me all of the time, like it's normal. I was reinforcing the idea that their lack of planning could always be absorbed by my flexibility. And here's where this gets really important. When you're taking on an emergency energy that isn't yours, you start living in a reactive state. That means you're no longer leading your day, you're responding instead to everyone else's chaos. And over time, that does something to you. It creates stress and builds resentment, and it pulls you away from your own priorities and your own life. Because now you're in the spot where instead of moving forward intentionally, you're constantly putting out fires. And listen, you guys, sometimes things are urgent. We all know that. I mean, life happens. But that's when you show up and go above and beyond because that's who you are. But if everything is always urgent, that's not real urgency or a real emergency. That's a simple lack of planning. And that's not something you're responsible for fixing for other people every single time. So throughout the years, I've had to learn this the hard way, just like everything else I talk about on this podcast. But I started to realize that feeling you get when you truly get to help someone, when you're always putting out these fires and emergencies, you never get that feeling because you're overextending. I was saying yes in moments where I should have paused because they weren't really urgent matters. So when this happens now, I start asking myself, is this actually mine to carry? Is this really a true emergency, or is it another last minute request from the same person that only ever has last minute requests? Can you guys feel me on that? I hope you can. So let's break this down in a really simple way. If you're struggling with this like I was, when someone comes to you in a panic, there are usually two things happening. One, they didn't plan ahead. And two, now they're the ones feeling the pressure of that. And that pressure is real for them, not for you. That pressure can get transferred to you when they bring you that request. And if you're not careful, you guys, you pick it up without even questioning it. You internalize it, you rush, you shift your priorities, you make it your problem. But remember, you can acknowledge someone else's urgency without taking it on as your own. I'm going to say that again. You can acknowledge someone else's urgency or emergency without taking it on as your own. And just for clarity, it can show up anywhere in life. In business, it might look like last-minute requests that derail you from your schedule. Clients expecting immediate turnaround because they submitted their request to you late. But in personal relationships, it shows up too. It can look like people expecting instant responses, so an instant phone call back or instant text message back. Emotional situations where someone else's stress or drama becomes your responsibility to fix. We're talking family problems or relationship problems. And again, we don't want to become unavailable to our people. That's the last thing I'm trying to say here. It's just recognizing the difference between this is important versus this needs to be done right now by me no matter what. You feel me? So what do you do when this happens, or how do you respond? Sometimes it's as simple as pausing, not reacting immediately or saying yes right away. You can take a beat before sending that email or text back and give yourself space to assess. Think about, what do I already have on my plate for today? What commitments have I already made? Does taking this on align with how I want or need to show up for myself and for others today? Other times, it's just direct, clear communication. Sometimes it's saying something like, hey, I can absolutely help with this, but I won't be able to turn it around today. Here's when I can get it to you. Or, I understand this is important. Let's build a plan so we can avoid this kind of timeline moving forward. And sometimes it looks like simply holding the line, knowing that saying no or not right now doesn't make you difficult. It shows discipline and lets people know you respect your time the same way you respect everyone else's. So keeping it real with you all, it can get really uncomfortable feeling. And if you can relate to this, I'm sure you're already nodding your head or feeling the same way. If you're used to being the go-to person, the reliable one, the one who always makes it happen, there's a real fear that if you don't jump, you'll disappoint people or lose opportunities or seem like you're not a team player. But that doesn't happen, you guys. What actually happens is that when you start moving and operating this way, people start respecting your boundaries. We've talked a lot about boundaries in other episodes so far on Hour of Happy. And when you create those boundaries, you start showing up better. You're not stretched so thin and you're not constantly reacting. Being in a reactive state is never good for us as humans, mentally and physically. When you're grounded, you're way more focused and a lot more intentional. And that version of you, gosh, it feels so good. It's so much more powerful than being in a constant reactive state. So if there's one thing I want you to take from today's episode, it's this. You can care and you can help others without carrying everything. You can be supportive without sacrificing yourself. You can be responsive without being reactive. And not every fire is yours to put out. The more we learn to recognize that, the more space we create for our goals, our peace, and the life we're actually trying to build. Thank you guys so much for listening today. If this episode resonated with you, I would love, love, love to hear from you. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Hour of Happy. And I want to do a quick shout out to everyone that has sent me a text message or have started following us on social media and message us there. The notes I'm receiving, you guys, are so sweet, so nice, so supportive, and are really fueling my fire to keep this podcast going. So thank you all so much. If you haven't already, make sure you've subscribed to this podcast so you don't miss upcoming episodes. And until next time, I hope you find your hour of happy in every single day.